What's going on, guys? I'm Fuller from Custom Offsets TV on YouTube, and today we wanted to go over some of our personal favorites, or I guess our picks for some of the best first trucks you can own. So whether you're a younger guy or you're just getting into trucks or you don't have a huge budget for trucks, these are all on the more affordable end of things, and most of them have a ton of aftermarket support. So we're going to jump in and share with you guys our top 5 first trucks. So kicking things off, we've got the Cateye Silverado, which I'm sure if you know anything about trucks, you expected this to come out of us. So it's from 03 to 2006, 2007 classic, if you can get a classic. But the trucks themselves are relatively inexpensive and they're extremely reliable. You know, it doesn't technically have an LS engine. Everybody likes to say it has an LS. It has like a LM7, I believe is the technical code for it. But it's the 5.3 liter GM V8 that it's the third generation of it, and they had tons of success with it. As far as aftermarket support goes, if you want to try to make more power with it, if you want to add forced induction, if you just want to tune it, there's a ton of people out there that do a whole bunch of different stuff for the engines themselves. And at the same time, I would say that for most people, the transmissions are relatively reliable. And if you're talking aftermarket as far as wheels, tires, suspension, it's one of the most popular trucks to modify. It's old enough where that price point is a little bit lower, but still new enough that it has support from all of the major lift kit companies out there. And there's people that go as far as turning these things into like complete off-road, pre-runner race builds. I've seen a ton of them, for sale on Facebook on some of the classified pages out there. That's just a good-looking truck that's modern enough that it looks like it can fit in, but it's not so new that it's going to break the bank. So I think the Cateye Silverado, and I guess technically the GMC Sierra of the same years also is going to fit that, but that's going to be the first one on our list. Next up for number 2, we have the second generation Toyota Tacoma. So you might be surprised that there's only been 3 generations of Toyota Tacomas, but the second gen was from 2005 all the way until 2015. So if you're getting, a 2014, it's going to be significantly more expensive than if you got a 2005. However, at the same time, if you buy one of those first years, you've got a truck that looks significantly newer to people who might not know exactly what it is. In the second gen Tacoma, one of the best features about it is the 4-liter that Toyota put in there. It's one of Toyota's most reliable engines in my opinion, and they made like in the mid 200s for horsepower. So nothing crazy, but super reliable, a little bit better on gas than some of your V8 trucks, and you can still tow 6,500 pounds even though it's a smaller vehicle. And as far as aftermarket support goes for these things, it's absolutely crazy. The off-road world really loves these second gen Tacomas, and there's a couple different variations, right? Where if you go out and you get a TRD, you're going to be spending a lot more money than if you get an SR5 or just a base one. But there's options out there to not spend quite so much, and you can still get a truck that looks like some of the fancier, higher trim ones, and then over time you're able to spend a little bit more on the aftermarket stuff and kind of make it your own. Third truck on the list is going to be the Chevy Colorado or GMC Canyon. It's going to be the first generation, which that was actually from 2003 all the way up to 2012. So again, this is another one of those trucks that if you buy an 03, 04, 05, it still looks the exact same as a 2012. So you get a vehicle that looks like it's much newer than what it really is. So therefore you can save a little bit of money there. Now the Colorado, I think most commonly had an inline 5-cylinder, which was a little bit weird and something that was kind of different. But GM put it in a few vehicles. It was also in the Hummer H3. It didn't make a ton of power and it sounds kind of goofy, but the best part about these Chevy Colorados is if you look hard enough, you can find them with a factory 5.3 liter, and then they scoot. They're actually a pretty decent truck. They can tow a decent amount. Brian Rainey, who works with us, he had one for a while and he picked his up for dirt cheap. It was somebody's like work vehicle, so it was banged up a little bit, but you know what? You get a V8 in a Chevy Colorado, I think that makes a pretty good first vehicle. In addition to that, they also had a few different variations of the truck, whether you wanted it to have like an off-road package, or they even had an extreme package, which gave you a factory lowered vehicle, different bumpers and all that kind of stuff, and made it significantly more sporty. So if you're more into the lowered stuff, there's an option for you too. Next on the list, we've got the third generation Ram. So these are the trucks around the like 2003, 2004 area, maybe 2002 I think was when they first started coming out. Now, They updated it in 2006, and I would try to go for a 2006 if you can get one. I think it's a lot more modern styling as far as the headlights go. They kind of took out some of the bubbles and made it a little more clean lines. And then I think they upgraded the back end with new taillights and stuff in 07. So somewhere around there is roughly where you want to be looking. They did discontinue the SRT 10 in 2006, but you're probably not going to have an 8.3 liter V10 in your first truck ever. So most of these guys out there, unless you got the V6, I wouldn't recommend getting the V6. Most of them have the 5.7 liter Hemi, which is one of Dodge's most popular engines. Back in the day, then I think it had about 350 horsepower or so, and then it got updated and it's at like 380, 390, somewhere in there. So plenty powerful. You get a full-size truck. In the 3rd gen Rams, that was also the first years that they introduced the mega cab configuration. So if you wanted an extra large cab, you can definitely do that as well. And overall, it's just not a Ford or a Chevy, because somebody was going to complain and say we didn't include Ram. So I wanted to throw this one in there, but they are pretty good looking trucks, especially for what you pay for them. Depending on condition, I've seen these things go for pretty low prices. The last one on the list is going to be the Ford Ranger. Now, this is for the guy that's more concerned about like fuel mileage and that kind of stuff versus actually using your truck for truck things. Now, you can definitely make these look very cool. I've seen people go way extreme on them and turn them into, you know, huge show trucks, or a complete like off-road build and do motor swaps and all that stuff too. But again, we're kind of focusing on first vehicles. So jumping right into it, you can get yourself a Ford Ranger, even with an FX4 package, for a pretty affordable price. But prices on these things are all over the place. I looked on the local Facebook, and you can get, you know, anything as low as like $3,000 or $4,000 for 2010, or I found a 2011 that was 12 grand at a dealership. So it all really depends on how they're spec'd out. 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, manual transmission, and what kind of packages they have. It's a regular cab or an extended cab. So there's a ton of options out there. But if you're looking for something that's going to be a little more fuel efficient, I think a Ford Ranger is a good option for you. If you've got a longer commute or something like that, you can get them with a 6-cylinder or a 4-cylinder. So there's definitely options out there for you. And I don't know when they first introduced the more boxy years. I think somewhere around maybe 2006, 2008. But they carried that on for a while until they discontinued it and just came out with a brand new one. So that's our list of the top 5 best first trucks. If you think we're wrong, we're willing to hear from you. If you want to write it down in the comments below and let us know what your first vehicle was. Obviously, there's a ton of other options out there too. It really depends on your financial situation and what you want to spend. If you're paying cash, if you're financing, or getting a loan, or whatever you're doing, or you want to lease a vehicle, there's a ton of options out there for you. But if you're looking to get into something without spending a whole bunch of money, I think these are good options for you. But like I said, everybody's situation is different. So let us know what you think down in the comments below. If you guys like the video, make sure you like it, hit the subscribe button if you want to check out more. Otherwise, CustomOffsets.com. We got wheels, tires, suspension. We got a gallery with like 70,000 trucks in it. If you want to see how to spec out your truck that you just bought, we can definitely help you out there too. Peace.